Hello, everybody. This is Old Tam with Old Tam. Welcome to Old Tam Links Golf in our interview section. Hope everybody's doing well today. We would like to, first off, thank our good friend Fitzy, Karin Fitzsimmons at Car Golf for introducing us to this gentleman that we're about ready to conduct the interview with. So thanks again, Fitzy. Appreciate it and keep up the work, buddy. Hope all is well with you. So joining us today from Galway, and which for you folks may know, if you don't know, is in Western Ireland, is a gentleman named Richard Hughes. He's a sports vision optometrist, and he's written what we think is a fascinating book. We were just chatting about it here. It's called Visual Edge Golf Performance, How to See a Better Game, which in itself, the name is fascinating to me. So at any rate, Richard, how's everything in Galway this evening?
Well, we have a lot happening in this side of the west of Ireland at the moment, as my own county, Mayo, after winning the All-Ireland Football Championship after 75 years. It's the biggest thing in sport that has happened over here. There was rumour there was a curse put on them in 1951 as the last team to win were passing a funeral. And then somebody said something and the priest put a curse on them. But that's not true. It was only a pishover, a rumour. So it's been very exciting few days here for us. And the Galway Races, which is a huge race festival, is on at the moment. So it's busy here. It's holiday time in the West. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I'm sure a few pints of Guinness might have been taken down here recently with that good news.
I'd say on Sunday anyhow. Sunday in Mayo there was, yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great. Well, welcome again, Richard. And before we dive into the book, let's get a little bit of background. Tell us a little bit about, how you found the game of golf. Scooter and I found the game early on in our, I was probably 10 or 11, Scooter maybe the same age, with our fathers. And so how did you make your way to the game of golf? And then I guess more importantly, how you found your way to optometry and your specialization in sports vision.
Yeah, very interesting. I played a lot of sports, wasn't a king of any of them, but I loved, and I became myopic, short-sighted. So I give up sports, and I often wondered later, I know now why I give up sports I was fairly good at, because I became short-sighted. Mm-hmm. So then contact lenses weren't available as they are now in the early 70s, 80s, so they're very popular now. So any kids at the age of 8 or 10, they're being picked up. It's not going to affect their sporting ability going forward. So how did I take up golf? Well, being competitive, a lot of friends were taking it up. A lot of guys play golf in Ireland. Obviously, lots of golf courses, and it's easy access to get into golf. Mm-hmm. It's relatively easy anyhow. So I took it up at around 26, I would have thought, joined Athenry Golf Course, golf club, and it was absolutely great. The first year or two I played in a competition, and we played in the Cecil Ewing, and we won the Connacht Championship. And I got such a buzz, great team. I knew nothing about golf. Maybe I was better off. It's only when I began intellectualizing golf and trying to do things, trying too hard, I didn't progress as quick. But I really enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. It's a great game. And then I'm an optometrist. And like when I heard about sports vision course Geraint Griffiths did, well, I'm saying here I am a fanatical sportsman, fanatical about my optometry. And it made complete sense for me to do the course. The course didn't take too long, but my fascination with it, I came back with loads of ideas, and wow, I couldn't wait to get moving in that area. But it's still it's an area that you need evidence. You need to back up your opinions and to back up your predictions. So the book that I did, Visual Edge Performance in Golf, is How to See a Better Game. A lot of the collaborators, and I have to thank them. First of all, I have to thank Fitzy for getting me on here with you today. I've had amazing chats with Fitzy. But I'll just, so my optometry sports vision, I came home with loads of ideas. I did a few sports vision screenings, and it whetted my appetite to go on further. But it's been a journey over the last 20 years. And I can go on then why the book and why I got into golf and more, but I don't want to keep talking because I could talk about this for all night long.
It's your passion, right?
It is, yeah, big time. Yeah. And golf is as well. So, but I think it really started for me one day when I read Jim Harnett's book, and I had been talking to Geraint about a lot of ideas, golf for the other 80%. So I rang Jim and we had many conversations. Didn't know the man, but he had studied eye dominance from a non-optical background. And a lot of his ideas, I agreed 100% with. But we put then Geraint, myself, Jim, and John Jemison. And it's funny that those three gentlemen were all, John Jemison is a PGA professional in Canada. Jim is in California, and myself and Geraint is in England, and I'm in Ireland, sports vision optometrist. So there were 3 type 2s. I'm a type 1. Took us about a year. We got into Golf Digest with the first article. On my website, I can tell you there was many conversations and many Zoom calls. And that I think Ireland's Golf Digest is gone now. I don't think it's there, but we got an article. I think it's no longer in existence, as far as I'm aware. It's Golf Digest worldwide. America is the one we get. But we were really thrilled with that. And we really had no evidence, but we all had opinions. And so then it went on for a few years. My son, Colm, who's very instrumental, as you can see in the book, at the start of the book. Colm was a scratch golfer. At the age of 17, he took up golf at 13. Played lots of sports. And not that this was the reason for it, but for the effort he was putting in, he wasn't really progressing. And between Jim's book and talking about it, it dawned on me one day I had a light bulb moment, and this is where this book has come from, really, that I thought type 1s like me, like Colm, it's the trailing eye when you play right-handed. So if you lose fixation with that eye, the other eye might take over. Various things you lose where the ball is in space during your swing. So all of a sudden you lose depth perception, and you feel, well, was that bad technique or what was it? And you're inconsistent. So
you immediately think, oh, it's my swing. Did I do something wrong in my takeaway or whatever, right? Yeah.
Correct. And you, the last thing you thought of was that it was a visual issue. Now, we're not there yet, but we're beginning to get there as regards the evidence. So it went on then. Colm suggested, Dad, why don't we not do scratch golfers are better and put our theories into practice? So we sent out a questionnaire to all scratch golfers, male and female. What's your eye dominance? And we give them the basic how to work it out. But most of them knew anyhow. But they still had to. So when that evidence came back to us, or that's what it worked out was, we did about 160. About 56, 57% were type 2. Now, that in itself was quite startling. When you think in the general population, type 2 is left eye dominant, right-handed, or vice versa.
Which is me and not Scooter. Right.
Yes. Yeah, okay. So the 5 in our family, the three children, and myself and Jean, my wife, we're all type 1s. Okay? So it's very hard. And during this journey, when I began explaining these theories to type 2s, they don't get it because they had never had an issue with this but they have other issues. They have to learn golf and putting slightly differently. We'll get onto that. So they never had any issues. So it's hard to convince. But Geraint, my optometrist, who's my mentor really in sports vision, Geraint Griffiths, an amazing man. That he is really with the theories, and he understands type 2, type 1. Because really we're becoming to the conclusion now, if you don't understand them, well, if they have a visual issue, type 1 seem to suffer more with certain types of visual refractions than type 2s, okay? From a visual point of view, Okay, so we did that, and we got that. It wasn't an exact, but then we went on, and I through Peter Lowry, who was on the GP World Tour. He is a case study in this. I got to know Peter through my good friend David Mortimer, who's the pro in Galway Golf Club, my own golf club. And I've had many conversations with both of them, David especially, and the two other local pros here in Galway, Gary Madden and Michael Kennelly, who are in Glenloe Golf Club. I won't go on about how many conversations, and it's amazing when you talk to a pro. Oh, they knew more, they knew as much as I knew about vision and golf, because they're teaching, they're giving lessons, and they can see where guys aren't improving at the rate of knots that they'd expect a fella, and they knew a good bit about it. Yes.
Did they go
very interesting.
I'm sorry, did they go immediately to the visualization? They knew to do that, or?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
there wasn't much convincing to them. Maybe
see.
it's because of the type of people they were always interested in learning and learning more, like I am, and it broadened their horizons as regards just not giving a swing lesson. It gave them a few other ideas to think about. But then through Peter Lowry, I wrote to the medical officer on the GP World Tour, Dr. Andrew Murray, and he then passed everything over to Peter Allen, Professor Peter Allen, and he is a case study in the book as well. He was the advisor on optometry matters to the GP World Tour. So Peter thought it was a great idea. It was never done before in any tour to come up with the exact number of type 1s and type 2s on tour. So you have 70% roughly type 1s like me and you, Scooter, on tour and in the general population, but we didn't know the exact number that was in the tour, and they're the best players in the world. We said it would be interesting to find out the configuration of eye dominance on the best players in the world, because we learn from them, we learn from their technique, and that's it. So we did the Irish Open in 2023, and we did the analysis then on anybody that was ranked in the top 500 in the world. And it came out roughly about 52% were type 2s, 48% type 1s. Nearly the same, but that's quite significant in this general population is 70%.
Not really, yeah, there you go. Not really a clear, majority.
It was very clear from a probability point of view that if you're a type 2, an elite type 2, you have a greater chance of going on to be very successful. Okay, a little bit anyhow. And type 1s seem to have different swings, different length of swings compared to the type 2s on tour. So that's where we're at. We did the Ladies Irish Open, and the results of that will be coming out. I think there could be something similar. We did a bit more, a little bit more. So them results will be written up as well. There's loads of various articles, and I've studied a good few of them about vision and golf, and they're all very interesting, all on the same line. But I think our bit about eye dominance and getting a lot of other professionals has helped to give us a broader understanding what's going on with vision and golf.
Great. Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot more to come, which is great. You're going to keep diving in and delving in. So
yeah,
it's great. Thanks for that. Scooter, I think you wanted to kick things off on your end with digging a little bit deeper.
Okay, so I do. I have some personal issues, but I'm going to leave those aside right now. I want to know a little more detail about the quiet eye concept, because in my mind, the quiet eye seems to be when you're focused on the ball just before you go into your swing. But coming from an art background, there's your mind's eye sees a visualization. So like when I look at the target, then when I look at where I want to hit the ball, then I look back at the ball as the ball being the target. Is the quiet eye that second or two or three where my focus just blends into just seeing the ball, or is it what's going on in my head and the way my vision and my mind is seeing it? Sorry, that's the cuckoo clock.
No, it's and I wouldn't be the quietest in it, because the more intellectual thought, as I say, your mind isn't quiet. But Dr. Joan Vickers would have discovered with eye tracking and screenings and all that, really what the quiet eye is. It's that, and pros have it. We don't have it. It's that last fixation at the ball before you release the club. And the longer that is, it's generally about 2 seconds for the pros. We're looking up and down and we're not really looking at any point. The pros do about 2 seconds. And a quiet mind, so it's really focusing on the mind and the eyes. The eye is focused on the ball, but the mind is also focused on the same thing that so it's all connected. It's called the flow state, I guess, in the zone, the flow state. So it's a flow. Any cues that help stabilize that final gaze, like the cues on the putter head, I guess, if there's lines on the putter head, I know King have a dot. I guess anything that stabilizes that final look. And it's something you cannot say, I want to be in the flow state today. I have to do this. I have to do A, B, and C. It doesn't work that way. So it is a state of mind, yeah, and it's through practice. And I think an awareness, even you cannot say after hitting a great shot, well, I'm in the flow state now. You won't be in it for the next shot.
Yeah, sure.
Pros won't think like that, I guess. So from my point of view, it just creeps up on you. You're in it because you fall into it, we call it.
Okay. So I'm with you on that. Now,
yeah.
let me throw you a curveball. So I've done your short swing using one eye closed, the dominant eye closed, the non-dominant eye closed, vice versa. And in my short swing, I can hit them pretty consistently as well with either eye open or shut. But I'm clearly right eye dominant. But when I try and swing a full swing, my shoulder pulls my chin out and my nose out. And if I'm closing my left eye when I'm right eye dominant in a full swing, I lose sight of the ball. And so I got to come back and find sight of the ball to make contact. Whereas if I use my left eye and I tell my left eye to dominate and I keep my left eye on the ball, it's a much better process. It's amazing how much better I make contact and hit the ball using my non-dominant eye in golf. It's my non-dominant eye, or it's my non-dominant eye, but in golf, I'm making my left eye my dominant eye, and I'm hitting the ball much better, short, long, whatever.
It's not a curveball. It's exactly the type of work I do. So I'd have to know a few reasons for that. Obviously, there's a lot of noise going on when you have both eyes open. Do you see better visually? No, not that visual acuity is performance defining, but do you see better with your left eye than your right eye? So your brain wants to cut out an eye, and you feel better about it. And whether that's that's one of the reasons. So it can be an optical reason. There's obviously too much noise going on. So the only reason I'd suggest you use a patch or close an eye, and I prefer to use a patch rather than closing an eye, is your brain will get used to how far, and I would always say the non-dominant eye, okay? Your brain will get used of seeing the ball with your right eye, because if you don't see it with either eye, you're not going to hit the ball. So you have to see it at least with one eye. So, but if you're only fixating on one eye, you're losing depth perception. And if you play enough golf, you'll be okay you'll get a honeymoon period. It's like guys looking at the hole when they're putting, closing an eye. Oh God, this is what I'm going to do forevermore. But you won't do that, because eventually that's a honeymoon period. Okay. So I feel there's something going on visually, or something with the glasses, or something through your technique, or there's too much noise going on. And we all love if there's no noise going on intellectually. And but obviously it's if you find something that works like that and you can hit the ball consistently, I would say that's the reason you're doing it, because you're quietening.
Okay.
Quite shy, yeah.
Okay, so for the last week, I've hit balls almost every day since I started reading your book, and I've been shocked. One, I took the test years ago on dominant eye with an artist friend who's also a golfer, and he was talking about this a little bit, and it turned out my dominant eye 7-8 years ago was my left eye, or so I thought. Now it's my right eye, but clearly I can swing better, make better contact, take the club back further using my left eye. So
Well, you said it there. Like if your dominance might have switched because of, I won't say cataract development, but because of some little thing happened, and
mhm.
there's a bit of instability, and so obviously that's a cue in itself that you should have a good sports vision evaluation for starters.
Okay.
That would be a diagnostic to me that you should do something about it, Jeff.
Okay. So next time I come to Galway, do you have a facility where I can come do that?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, anytime you're in, I'd love to. Because
Excellent.
that exactly is what I do.
Excellent.
You have asked a question, and I'm trying to give you analysis of what could be without
Mhm.
actually having done the clinical side. But that's what we are as sports. We're not coaches.
Mhm.
You know, it's all I'm talking about. You see, if you take that the eyes perceive, the brain receives, and the body reacts. So that's all you did there was you perceived, I like this. And the brain received that perception and you reacted to it. And
Yeah.
obviously that worked. If it's better than having the two eyes open, yeah, for
Well,
now you have to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I can have two eyes open, but I'm definitely using my left eye to focus on making contact. And
Are you sure of that? Are you sure of that? Are you doing that to the ball or?
I'm pretty sure of that.
Okay.
I'm obviously can't be positive, but I'm relatively sure. And the more I focus on using my left eye to see the ball, the more backswing I can put in, and the better contact I make.
Well, now it's interesting you did that. I did two things in the last 2 weeks for me, and it's made a huge difference to my game. Okay, and I've good vision each eye. I would have a slightly unstable dominant eye at times, especially when under pressure or fatigue or glare or all that. So a lot of these things don't manifest themselves till those things happen. You have, you're under a bit of stress, you have a good score going, and next thing,
sure, the wheels come off.
The wheels come off. And that's what pros train to be able to do it when, that's what they train every day for, that they can overcome these issues. But I found by using my peripheral vision, and I looked at a video Justin Rose said, and I thought it was fascinating what he said. He said, if you get your ear to the ground on your follow through, well, you won't flip at the ball. It'll make your body keep moving. But in a way, he was telling me, from when I listened to him, I was getting my right eye on the ball. My dominant eye, as on the downswing, the first move is that. And you watch Justin Rose in his practice swing, he's very deliberate. But I didn't understand. I never heard him say that until today. I just happened to come on it. And I went out to our net and I hit the ball. I said, this is cheating nearly, because I always struggled. I always knew you had to get your eye on it, but that was a lovely feel for me. Of just
to bring your right ear down to the ground.
Yeah, get your right ear. So now I'd love to know what type he is. Is he type 1 or 2? But he was saying the same thing to me as a coach. Technically, he was telling me what to do. But telling me to do that made it easier for me to do it, because I know I was getting my right eye on the ball a lot quicker. Okay? So it made optical sense as well as technical sense, we call it. And that's what we're trying to do here in sports vision, that where there's an issue between type 1s and 2s, that we try to get the optical and what the coaches do, especially in putting and all in putting and the long game. But the long game, it's not as important. But I love that thought. And the peripheral vision stabilized my right eye as well. So when I played 30, 40 years, I always thought I had to look at a dimple on the ball. Now that's visually very demanding. If you have any issues going on, you wouldn't like it after me just talking about your left eye being on the ball. It's very hard to do. So the minute you lose fixation with the dimple, the swing is gone. Your brain doesn't know where that ball is. So now I said, look at the whole ball, and I can get it back and I can see the whole ball at the top of my swing now. So between that and Justin Rose's tip, that first move that you do is so easy, rather than, I just felt it made it easy optically for type 1. to get the other bits right, as well as the technical bits, because we all struggle with the technical bits.
Right. So and part of my problem's always been I've got too many technical things I'm thinking. But if I have one swing thought or two, then I usually make better contact. And so that right ear to the ground, I'm going to be trying that, because that brings your hips through, that brings everything through. If you're in a decent position,
it brings everything through, exactly. And you love it. And then you find you won't have to be focusing on, you'll just forget about the optical side of it, and it'll be an awareness. When I ask pros, and I ask them all, what do you look at? Not one of them ever said a dimple to me.
Yeah.
Maybe in putting, yes, but not one of them. All the guys in that book, I asked them. And and they played it on the GP World Tour, and sort of used to annoy me a little bit, because I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the whole, what they're doing is just, they're looking at the ball.
Yeah.
Without getting too upset, without getting too focused on it.
Yeah. I look at the ball, and I just try to look at the back side of the ball, but I see the whole ball. I don't try to look at a dimple. I just want to make contact with that back side, but I'm seeing the whole ball too.
That's what you're doing. Yeah. So we don't need to get too uptight about the visual aspect. You see, how good your vision is not how good your vision is. It's the binocular vision, really, how the two eyes work together.
Yeah.
Like seeing the bottom line on the chart isn't performance defining. It's the other 5 or 6 layers of vision.
Right.
That is performance defining.
Good information.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that. So speaking of that, of that vision and that type of thing. I read a book, from everybody knows about Bob Rotella, right, in the inner game and stuff. He preached, Richard, a pre-shot routine, visualizing the shot, looking at your target, the old, analogy, kind of the darts analogy, aim small, miss small type of thing. And I started doing that more often, and I think it's really helped me. But is that part of what you were talking about in your organization of space? Yeah,
I think so. I think type 2s are a bit different. You don't have the same issues visually as we have.
Yeah.
Physiologically, you don't see depth perception as good as us, because the ball is always slightly to the left of where it actually is. But once you cope with that in putting, you have to make a final adjustment. And I'd love the pros to take up on this. The ball is to the left. So on a straight put, I think type 2s have to make the aim slightly right for a straight put in their brain. Okay, they feel they're aiming slightly to the right. It makes sense to them. I don't know if you feel this or not. I've talked to a few. Type 1 see a straight line, but it's when we come to the side, both of us see a straight line from behind the ball. I'm talking about when you come to the side.
Right.
The type 2s make a final adjustment, I'm thinking. That they do it through practice, they learn it through experience, and they don't think about it. Okay?
That's the key. I think I do that, and I don't think about it. It just happens.
You don't think about it, obviously. Yeah. And the better you are, the least you wouldn't want to be thinking about it. So the type 1s, if we pick a point from when we're behind the ball, that point may look to the left when we come to the side. Okay? So we have to learn to trust that, especially when we're under pressure for pros. Okay? That's when it goes out the window. You have a short put, and what you thought was the line here, like straight is not straight then. When you're under pressure, there's glare, emotional stress, you're in the final bit of a tournament. They just don't see it the same way as they did when they're relaxed, quite high. So I think being aware of that, they have to have some other process, and I'm sure they have, that they know when I'm under pressure, this is everything else. I can't really trust my eyes, but I can trust the point I pick from behind the ball. And I talked to Dave Mortimer about this, and he won a big tournament doing that. All he had was, he said he just picked a point and trusted it. That's all he had. And he got the put. Don't ask him why it went in, why it didn't. It was about a 20-foot put, and he won a tournament. And that was the difference, because Vision, the more pressure you're under, the more your vision comes in. It gets very narrow. That's why I'm saying you need peripheral vision.
Makes sense.
And
Makes sense.
so, and balance is better with peripheral vision, especially for you and me. Scooter, if you close one eye and stand on one foot, it's not as easy. You see, you need your peripheral vision for balance.
And then if you switch eye and foot, it's even harder to fall out.
That's why I don't like yoga. I'm no good at yoga when they tell me stand on one foot, especially if there's any binocular instability. It doesn't suit. No.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. You feel like am I a dummy here, like trying to stand up on one foot, like, and trying to do moves.
My wife does Pilates and she's doing all these balance things, and I'm like, I'm getting dizzy, and if you close one eye, I fall over.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
So that's good stuff, Richard. So another question for you. I retired a couple of years ago. Thank goodness I'm playing more golf now. But I was in the corporate software sales world, the enterprise sales world, for software solutions and stuff. And I always called it the discovery, the flushing out of the pain. Others call it the diagnosis before prescription. But I guess in your terms, so how do you, your end client, whether it's an instructor or a golfer, how do you, illustrate, that challenge and kind of flush out that pain to where they want to go, okay, well, here's my pain, and now write the prescription, and what do I do from here?
Yeah, in a lot of cases, it's not about glasses, okay? It's about an awareness, because any good golfer has adapted to the visual problems they have. So you're not going to give them a pair of glasses and say, now, take them. It's not going to change. It's going to take a long time for that process to change, unless it's very obvious astigmatism and they can see a way better with the glasses, okay? And that's what often happens. Pros who were very good, their vision goes off and they're unaware it's a visual issue. They can still see
That's
very
kind of what
good.
I was alluding to. Yeah. How do you flush out what that pain is? Yeah.
Well, I'll give you an example. I've tested a lot of scratch golfers are better. And my opinion and my evidence so far is that all scratch golfers are better. Either have extremely good vision, either with laser surgery, glasses, unaided, or contact lenses. I've never yet got one. They may have a few little issues, but I think to get to scratch, you need good vision. To read lines subtly when the light isn't as good. It gives you that physiological advantage. They're good athletes as well. Like, we're not going, like, I'm not going to be a scratch golfer at this stage, but they are good athletes, and they practice their sport. Golf being a game that takes hours and hours every day to practice and to get good, to get to tour level. So, but they are athletes, but their vision is good. Now, either with contacts or it's corrected vision is good, or unaided, whatever.
Have you noticed that vision is affected by the type of course, say a links course versus a parkland? Obviously, time of day and light might have an effect, but does types of courses and sight lines make a difference? Yeah,
of course they do. But glare, and I was only talking to David there today, like, he was telling me, David Mortimer, that he nearly puts better when the light isn't really high, not midday light, okay? Or he puts better when the light or the sun isn't at its worst. So glare is a big, big factor, obviously. To read lines and to read them perfectly, it is a huge factor. Vision is important in putting, It is how your two eyes. And the one thing that goes off, when your VO2 max goes down, okay, it's the one, and maybe not in golf because it's not, but your VO2 max over 6 hours, I'm sure, out in the golf course, it goes down, it reduces, then your binocular vision reduces. Okay, so the two are connected. Okay, so if there's a binocular vision problem and you're already on the little bit of a strain there, as the round goes on, and that goes down, then it's going to affect your performance. Yeah,
right, makes sense.
So, kind of follow up to that, Richard, can you share with us how you've engaged with the client and another kind of follow up to what I just asked? you know, if someone comes to you and they say, hey, how can you help me out? You know, what is that process to go through? Is it visual? Is it not? I mean, what are those?
Yeah, it's a full eye examination, and we might add in a few extra bits and ask them where the issues are. But it's totally different for a pro than it's going to be for the likes of me. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a different process because, like, is it technical? Is it vision? Is it, you know, are you doing enough practice? You know, like it's if it's a very obvious visual thing and they're a type 1 and they see a way better with their non-dominant eye than their dominant eye, well, that's an easy fix straight away. Or they don't wear glasses at all and they're playing off 16 handicap. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden they see an extra 3 or 4 lines with a pair of specs. Well, then it's that's not, you don't need to convince them. You know,
Right.
like straight away, it might take them 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get used to them, but that's what any optometrist would do anyhow. You don't need to be a sports vision optometrist to do that. But I would say for the more elite golfer, I think you learn from experience. Yeah.
Sure.
How you intervene. You won't intervene during the season. You'd be very slow. You'd be advising, yes. And I had 2 interesting cases where one guy, a very good golfer, he was on one of the tours, he was using his left eye. He was type 1. He was a right to use the Bushnell. Okay. And I said, like, why are you doing that? And he thought he was strengthening the left eye, but that was changing his whole perception. Okay. And his game had gone off. So we got him back on track. That only took 2 minutes. Another guy, he had a big head movement when he did the eye dominance test. Okay. So you wouldn't intervene there too easy now because he's been doing it for 20 years. Okay, and he has adapted, but it obviously will have an effect on performance at the very elite level. So he has to make that decision, will he intervene and give it 6 months? Because I'd say it would take 6 months to do that change.
Sure.
You know, and that would be, but you might give them slight bead on the string exercises to do, just look at beads, but a lot of it is awareness. I think the most important thing I've given golfers is just be aware of subtle little visual cues and that.
Hey, so on the Brock string, I've been tempted to get one, and I'm wondering if the distance, like they sell them 6 foot, 10 foot, 20 foot. What's
Yeah,
the
you can't do it. You can't really do it beyond, would say 10. Yeah, it's a putting thing more than, not for the long game. Yeah,
Okay.
the long game is in infinity. You know, you're looking in the distance mainly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And the one bit of advice as regards glasses. Now, again, I'd have an argument with some people about that, but I wouldn't wear varifocals to play golf.
No.
No, it should be your single vision distance glasses.
Yeah, I only wear these for computers and stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd say is if you wanted something to read the card, put it on a little bifocal on the corner of your non-dominant eye.
Of your non-dominant eye. Okay.
And your non-dominant eye, so it's not in your field of vision or anything.
Yeah.
Just to read the card.
Yeah,
But
no, I don't wear them on the course. I don't wear them at all, except on my phone and the computer.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like
fine.
175s or something like that. And
Richard,
Plus 175s.
yeah,
yeah, there you go. Richard,
Oh, yeah,
along
well,
the
that's just
same,
for reading. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, for our watchers and listeners, can you show them the real quick how you do the test to figure out which eye dominant? There, they
Yeah.
can start there, then read your book and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I have a few ways in doing it. I have the other chart outside. I have it. Yeah, I have it outside. What you do is you put your right hand over your left, make a little triangle like that, and you're the observer now, Scooter, for me. Okay, so what eye do you see I'm pointing at your nose with? Can you see which eye I'm using?
I can't see either one of your eyes. So I would say you're.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at your eye, or
Right.
your nose with my right eye.
Okay.
You point at something there, Tom, and just put your one hand over the other. No,
Well, no,
yeah,
no.
like that, and point at something across the room.
Yeah.
I can see. No, make a small little triangle, smaller, and look at something across the room there. Yeah, now you're using your left eye.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that there.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that too.
Yeah. Okay. So your brain didn't know which eye you were going to use. So you do it 4 times. I do it 4 times with a patient, and you do it like that. I get them to put the other hand on top to get rid of the bias. Okay. But if there's any difficulty in finding your nose, that's a cue, that's a diagnostic sign to me. There's noise, there's confusion going on with binocular. So I think pros, I know the few guys, or David and you would certainly understand, like a good athlete doesn't be finding your nose, they find it straight away. Any of the golfers we tested at the Irish Open didn't have any difficulty in doing that test. It was bang, bang, you know. You can tell straight away they're not looking to find your nose through the little triangle. They found it, yeah.
Gotcha.
And most of them knew their eye dominance, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Like, so they were aware of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating stuff. We're kind of winding down, I guess, time-wise here, but I always like to kind of go off in a different direction here for a second, if I could, Richard. I know you remember when you play at, Galway Golf Club. Can you give us a couple of your favorite links courses in and around that area that some of our listeners should definitely flock to?
I think we're blessed in Ireland anyhow, but close to me, I guess I'd have to Ballyconneely, Connemara Golf Course. Is just about an hour away. Now we have Lahinch to the south, which is a famous.
We play there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, then you have the 3 golf courses up at Enniscrone, Ross's Point, and a beautiful golf course in my own county in Cairn and Belmullet.
Yeah,
they're rated very highly in I hear, but Ross's Point, Enniscrone, and then all the other ones when you go up further up in Donegal, the Rossapinna has 3 lovely links golf courses there.
Yeah, we went to Rossapinna. I loved St. Patrick's. It was one of my favorite courses there, but unfortunately we called it an audible and missed Cairn, but next time we're going to go there, right, Scooter? As well as Ross's Point. Yeah, you bet.
Strandhill, sorry, the other one I forgot there was Strandhill. So you have Strandhill, Ross's Point, Enniscrone, and Cairn. They're all within an hour of here.
For our viewers, Enniscrone has some of the most beautiful giant dunes in all of Ireland, right? Yeah, just incredible. One last question, Richard. So your dream foursome, can you pick 3 or 4 other guys? It could be a 5-some. Who would you have in that foursome, past or present?
Okay, Jack Nicklaus would have to be number 1.
Nice.
Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. I'm not looking for a lot there now. Maybe going to organize a scooter. And for various reasons, I would have them for various reasons from an optical point of view, because Tiger and Jack Nicklaus are type 2s, left eye, right-handed, and I think a lot of the great type 2s, and this is some of the back in Ben Hogan's time and Lee Trevino and all that time back there, were type 2s, a lot of the great golfers, because a lot of the lessons were for, I think more for type 2s then.
Mm-hmm.
It's all changed now. They take in, I guess TrackMan has changed a lot of that and a little bit, and the more we learn about it. But maybe that's just an opinion of mine. And Rory, because he's a type 1, and an amazing type 1 with the swing he has, and it's just amazing that. And Henrik Stenson was type 1 as well, and Annika Sørensen. If I had to pick another 4-ball of type 1s, I'd have a David Duval, Annika Sørensen, Rory. I would definitely love to see their opinions of why they swing the way they do. And would they even have ever thought about their eye dominance? So I guess a lot of pros haven't ever thought, I'm a type 1, I should do. They just did it instinctively. And that's the way type 1 should be. You should play golf the way, and type 2s are the same. It's just coaching, I guess. If you get a good coach, then they work with that and they bring you to the greatness that these people are. These players are, yeah. But they need to get off on the right track. My advice to any young player would be just go to a coach that has a little idea that there might be a difference. We're beginning to think there might be a difference between type 1s and 2s and the way they should be taught. Now, can I prove that? Michael Jacob has a bit in the book and about 3D analysis. He invented, or he did a lot of that. And he's done the forward in the book, and I'd like to thank him for that. And Porrick Harrington has a very interesting case study in the book. Very interesting.
Fantastic. Yeah, one of our favorites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you, that's great. If you put together that foursome, Scooter and I will caddy. We'll take off.
Listen, I thought
So,
the
Richard, we wanted to thank you again. It was
Yeah,
this
thank
was
you.
awesome and very informative. And so I highly recommend for everybody to find Visual Edge Golf Performance, how to see a better game. And we thank you, and we thank Fitzy for putting us together. Thank you, Fitzy.
And if I could just say, it will be on Ingram Sparks, or
Okay.
Ingram Spark, yeah. It
Oh,
will be
fantastic.
and it will be, and it'll be on our website, visualedgegolf.com.
VisualEdgeGolf.com.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody go to that. And Richard, thank you. We
Thank
will
you.
see you on our
Thank you
next
very
trip
much.
down there, which will probably be in 2028, Scooter, most likely.
I'm going to spend the whole summer of 28 over there, so I'm coming to see you in 28. I think
Yes.
our next trip, we're going to Scotland first, but I'm coming to your studio, and I want some special eye help. But hopefully by then I've got it worked out.
And if ever I'm over in the States, I'll certainly look you up. It's been
Oh,
very
please do.
interesting.
Please
Yeah.
do.
And
we,
thanks for taking an interest, and thanks Fitzy for putting me in touch with you. He's been very good, and I must say he's given me a lot of strength to continue with this journey from when I began to know the man a few years ago. So he's an amazing
good
man.
man.
And I have to thank him a lot to encourage me to keep going. Yeah.
He's a good man. Well, we will keep in touch, Richard, and thanks.
Yeah,
again.
thanks very much.
We appreciate it, and take care. Talk to you soon.
See you guys.
All right,
Okay.
take
Bye.
care.
Thanks very
Cheers,
much.
everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you.